And here it is, the one that you've been waiting for, the semifinals and finals of the first ever Monster Brawl. This is the big one as we're down to the final 4 monsters, down from 32, which were randomly placed against each other, and you guys voted for the winners, so this is all on you. I'm your host, Josh Spiegel, and I'm joined by the ever enigmatic El Luchaboochie.
Oh, it's so good to be here again, and I'm very excited to be here for the grand finale.
Lucha, I have a question for you.
What's that?
You're a luchador, a Mexican wrestler, but you don't sound or look Mexican.
That's because I'm not Mexican. I'm from Vermont.
Then why use the L for El Luchaboochie?
What do you mean?
El is a Spanish article. It means the. Your name translates to the Luchaboochie.
I don't know what you're talking about. The L is an initial. It's an abbreviation of my first name.
Oh. Then what's it short for?
Lucas.
Your name is Lucas Luchaboochie.
Junior.
All right, for these semifinals here, I don't think we get more epic than this. We have 2 diametrically opposed enemies.
I myself am also opposed to metric.
Yes, you are. And we're looking at the battle between the supernatural and the extraterrestrial as Pumpkinhead takes on the Blair thing.
This is a weird fight because you have one opponent that seems to inflict tons of damage, but really can't be hurt. And the other one doesn't really seem to be interested in fighting as much as just absorbing you.
Indeed, it's almost like they say about the immovable force versus the unstoppable object.
Does absorbing count as damage?
How so?
Well, since Pump is invulnerable to damage, right? So when the thing takes you over, it eats your cells and it copies them. But does the eating of those cells count as damage? Wouldn't that be impossible to do that then?
That is an interesting question, and I'll admit that it is a deeper analysis than I expected from you here.
Well, yeah, my mom helped me with that one.
Oh, you finally talked to your mom. That happened.
I did not. But I did pay a nice lady to let me call her mom, so everyone is happy.
But are they?
Close enough.
Speaking of close, this battle wasn't as close as I would have thought, with the majority of people apparently agreeing that absorbing cells, I guess, does not count as damage. And the Spirit of Vengeance just becomes a greater part of the DNA structure of the Blair thing with a 64% take versus Pump's 36. On the other side of the semis, we have a sort of a similar situation as we have a large creature versus an enemy that is sort of more of an invasive species.
You would think that people would be voting for anything virusy to lose right now, but I guess not.
Guess not, since we're looking at the Xenomorph Queen versus the Splinter creature.
That guy?
Yes.
It's just a person with a weird spiky infection, and it's fighting that big alien queen?
Yes.
One of the meanest monsters I've ever seen in a movie, and with a weird penis head and stuff, and she's fighting an acupuncture patient?
Yes.
Gee, I wonder how this is gonna go.
Wonder no more, because this was a blowout, which is strange considering everyone thought that the whole infectious and the bodily takeover aspect was enough to give the thing a huge advantage, but this creature with a somewhat similar MO gets trounced, as the Queen took 86% versus Splinter's 14%, and I'm gonna assume that it's because the Splinter has to penetrate the opponent's hide and was not able to do so. All right, here we go. It's the main event for the whole kit and caboodle. This is the final round.
That's the prize? Some sort of caboodle kit?
No, the kit and the caboodle are both simply figurative, but they do get the whole enchilada.
Again, kind of a stupid prize.
And also, again, not a real enchilada, but they don't really win anything. They're here against their will for our entertainment.
That don't seem too nice.
They're monsters, Lucha. Monsters.
Well, maybe because people keep making them fight each other. Maybe if they weren't brought up by some lady who constantly forced them to fight things all the time, beating them mercilessly every time that they lost, and occasionally making them wear dresses and eating doggy poop for the purpose of humiliating them. then they wouldn't be such monsters and constantly want to hurt and maim people and then take massive amounts of narcotics to numb their pain.
Maybe. Thing versus Alien Queen. These guys are the best of the best, the cream of the crop here. And I have to say, I think this all comes down to one question, and that question is, since the thing is vulnerable to burning, would it be able to assimilate the Xenomorph's acid blood? Lucha, any thoughts?
My whole life is a lie.
So yeah, an interesting wrinkle is that in order for the acid blood to hurt the thing, you would have to assume that the queen has been injured or damaged. So her only real offense to Blair creature is as if she herself is a victim. And that seems to be what happens here, since the thing is more intelligent and able to figure out that the blood would hurt it and able to take a more frontal assault tactic. Although the battle is extremely close, with our shapeshifting friend squeaking by this final fight with a slight 52% margin versus 48%, meaning that he may have won, but takes quite a bit of damage himself. So there you have it. Let's check out our final bracket, complete now. Well, that wraps up our first ever Monster Brawl. We hope you've enjoyed this tournament, and if you want to see more, let us know by sharing this out to the world. Oh, hey, you okay?
Yeah, I just went back down to congratulate the Blair thing on winning the fight.
You were down there with it?
Yeah.
Were you alone?
For a little bit, yeah.
Okay, well, we're closing out the tournament.
Oh, then like and subscribe and all that. I mean, they've heard all of this before by now, right?
They have. Good night, everyone.